So this video is going to be a little more raw and candid than I think I normally am. And I have to start off by just being honest. When I first started making these videos, it was out of a desire to want to share persuasive arguments for ideas that I thought were true, the ideas that I think are true. They've been a source of liberation and hope for me in my life, and I just wanted to share that with other people in the hopes that it would be a source of liberation and hope for them as well. I have been struggling with the potential of making a video about these scandals, but it seems to be all anybody can talk about. And I never imagined myself being a spokesperson in the midst of this, but obviously I've been talking about Catholicism for a long time now, and I find myself in this position where I feel like I do need to address this topic. And so this is uncharted territory for me, and I don't know what I can share. I'm not an investigative journalist. I'm not going to run through all the facts with you and say, here's what I think's going on and here's the conclusions about it. What I think I can contribute is just the perspective of a lay Catholic who is angry, who is sad about it, who is furious about it, who is heartbroken for the victims, and who is looking to God for grace and help in the midst of it. And so I hope I can share a message of hope with other Catholics who are feeling lost right now. And I hope that I can address this instinct that I think a lot of us feel, and that I can identify with. I can completely understand this desire to want to leave the church. So this video is going to be kind of a personal perspective based on my experience, based on what I bring to the table, based on my conclusions, and how I'm weathering this storm, and what I'm finding strength in. But if you are someone who has been hurt by this, or who is a victim of these things, I would not presume to tell you what to think or how to feel, because I don't share your experiences. I'm angry for you. I am sad for you. I want healing for you, and I'm still very confident that that healing comes through Christ. But I don't presume to tell you what to do in the midst of this. But for people like me, I think I can contribute something of meaning. I think it would be really easy at this point to just succumb to the outrage and refuse to share in the disgrace of what it means to call ourselves Catholic. But like I said, I want to try and share a message of hope through this video. But before I do, I think we as Catholics need to start admitting some hard truths. In the past, my instinct whenever I would hear stuff like this has been like the defend the faith narrative. I'd say things like, yeah, there are a few bad priests, but the rate of abuse is no higher in the Catholic Church than, say, in school systems or elsewhere, and so on. But I think we need to finally come to terms with this and admit that the Catholic Church has a problem, a unique problem with this. There is widespread moral corruption in the clergy, and if recent allegations are true, this goes all the way to the top. But here's the thing. The church isn't the clergy, it's not the bishops, it's not the pope, it's not the diocesan or the parish staff. It's the people of God. At least that's what the catechism says, as long as they don't try to change that too. You and I are the church, and we have a choice at this point. We can run away and hide from our problems and just hide our heads in the sand, or we can stand and fight for our church. We can stand against this cancer that has grown inside of it and root it out. That's the opportunity that we have right now. I take this as a test of our reasons to call ourselves Catholic and to participate in the life of the church. Because if our reasons in the past have been things like, I like the flattery of belonging to an ancient and noble institution. That's not going to cut it anymore. I don't go to church to feel good about my association as being a Catholic or to reinforce ideas about what a good person I am. I go to receive Jesus. I go because I recognize that I'm a person in need of grace and mercy. I go to receive him body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist, and to have personal exchanges with other members of his body. For me to look at an unfolding scandal like this and say, that's it, I'm out of here and I'm never coming back, would be like hearing about widespread corruption in the medical establishment and then saying, I'm never going to a hospital again, I don't care if I'm bleeding out. Or it would be like hearing about corruption in the judiciary and in law enforcement and saying, well, I'm not calling the police the next time someone's breaking into my house. And I have to admit that if I were to succumb to that desire, there would be a part of me that would be indulging this attitude that is saying that I'm too good for this. And so I'm going to withhold my association from it as a consequence for them. But what that would actually translate into is I'm too good for Jesus. I'm too good for the sacraments. And I think that's about the most irrational thought a person can have if they call themselves a Christian. And they don't care. The people that are responsible for this garbage would not care if someone like me walked away. I would only be hurting myself and my family by withholding sacramental grace from us. I'm hoping and praying that there's going to be real, meaningful, and lasting reform and change. Not the kind of nonsense we've seen where there's these half measures and these pastoral half apology letters, but real reform and real cleansing. And it's going to take those of us who are really outraged over this to stick around and let our voices be heard for as long as it takes. Now is the time for us to stand strong and have courage. Otherwise, there will be future victims. Otherwise, the victims of this, there will be no justice for them. Now is the time where we have to stand and make this reform happen. And lastly, can I just say, I've had conversations with people who are actually victims of this stuff, some of whom are friends. And some of them are staying in spite of what's happened to them because they believe in Christ and they believe that he established a church for us to belong to. And if they're staying, that should sober up the rest of us who think it's noble to act like victims on their behalf by leaving. So let's start rebuilding the church. And can I be so bold to suggest that it starts by ending tolerance for infidelity among our clergy? As soon as our pastors break with the consensus and timeless teachings of the faith, they set themselves up as their own authorities. And as soon as they do that, they can do whatever they want. And we've been tolerating that for too long. And I say that it ends now. And we cannot ease the pressure for investigation. This needs to be investigated at every level and not internally, but independently. Let's hope that Pennsylvania was just the beginning, and God willing, the days of corrupt priests and bishops are numbered. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that, then please consider subscribing and liking, and come find me on Facebook and Twitter. It's a huge help when you do that. It helps us get these videos in front of more and more people. And a big thank you goes out to You Catholic for presenting these videos. And if you want to support the making of these videos, then please consider supporting my work as a digital media and marketing expert. My company, Holdsworth Design, specializes in branding, web and graphic design, marketing, social media, videography, and all that kind of good stuff. So if you know of a parish, a diocese, a ministry, or a business that needs help in those areas, then please send them our way and I'm sure we can help them out.